There are places in this world that maps refuse to name, roads that lead nowhere, fields with no crops, foundations without houses built on top of them. And then there are the villages that were simply left, not evacuated, not burned down, not flooded, just abandoned. As if one morning every single person woke up, looked at each other, and decided, without a single word, to never come back. This is the story of Arrow's End, and I need you to understand something before we begin. The people who went looking for it, most of them came back. Most. In the autumn of 2003, a forest surveyor named Daniel Marsh was mapping a stretch of woodland in rural northern England when he noticed something strange on his GPS. A cluster of structures, 11 of them, dense, close together, about 3 kilometers of any known road. No record of them on any modern map, no record of them in any county registry. He almost ignored it. Almost. When Daniel finally pushed through the tree line, he described what he saw in his field notes, notes that were later published on a local history forum before being quietly taken down. The village was intact. That was the first thing that unsettled me. Not ruins, not rubble, just intact. 12 stone cottages arranged around a central square, thatched roofs, partly collapsed, but the walls standing. A well in the center, a church without a steeple at the north end. The doors were all open, not broken open, not rotted off their hinges. Open, like someone had gone through each one in turn and left them that way on purpose. Daniel took photographs, he measured, he was true professional. But there was one detail he kept returning to in his notes, one thing he mentioned 3 separate times, as if he couldn't quite process it. There were no birds, no fewer birds, not quite birds, no birds at all. In a dense stretch of English woodland, in October, complete silence. He left before dark, he said, and this is a direct quote. The light in that place felt wrong, like it was coming from the wrong direction. After Daniel's post circulated online, a local historian named Margaret Tallis began digging through parish records, estate documents, and old ordnance survey archives. What she found was incomplete. Deliberately so, she believed. Arrow's End appeared once, just once, in a county census from 1887. Population 43. Occupations listed: farmers, a blacksmith, a midwife, a schoolteacher, and, curiously, 6 individuals listed simply as watcher. No last name, no age, no household, just watcher. The village did not appear in the 1891 census, or any census after that. Margaret wrote to the Church of England's historical archive, asking about the church Daniel had photographed. They had no record of a parish at that location. No baptism, no marriages, no burials, nothing. But here is where it gets stranger. In a collection of private letters held at the university library, letters written by a local landowner in the 1880s, Margaret found a single passing reference to the village in the hollow. I do not ride past it at night. The men there keep hours that no Christian should keep, and they watch the road in a way that makes their horses uneasy. That was it. One sentence, no explanation, no follow-up. The landowner was found dead in his study in 1889. The official cause? Heart failure. He was 31 years old. In 2011, a group of urban explorers, 4 of them, went looking for Arrow's End after finding Daniel's original post on an archived website. They found it. Their footage was uploaded to a now deleted YouTube channel. I've reviewed what survives, screenshots, description from people who watched it before it was removed. The village looked exactly as Daniel had described. 8 years later, nothing had changed. No further decay, no animal activity, no vandalism. The doors were still open. In the footage, one of the explorers, a woman named Claire, walks into the largest cottage. The camera follows her. The inside is furnished, roughly, simply, but furnished. A table, chairs, shelves with clay jars, a fireplace, cold, and on the table, plates, 4 of them, set for a meal, with what appears to be food on them. Though, by then, it had long since decayed into an unrecognizable dark mass. The explorer who posted the video wrote this in the description. "We found it funny, at first, like a joke someone had set up. But the longer we stood there, the less funny it felt, because there was no rot anywhere else, no mold, no moss. It was like the inside of that cottage existed in a different kind of time." We left when Carl started crying. He said he didn't know why he was crying, he just couldn't stop. 3 of the 4 explorers have, in interviews and forum posts, described experiencing persistent nightmares in the weeks following the visit. Always the same dream, standing in the village square, in darkness, unable to move, while something, never seen clearly, moves slowly between the cottage doors, checking, closing them, one by one. The 4th explorer, Carl, refuses to speak about it all. "I want to be careful here. I'm not going to tell you what Arrow's End is. I'm not sure anyone can. But there are a few details that, when you place them side by side, form a shape. The watchers in the census, 6 of them, unnamed, with no families. The open doors, every single one, as if the last act of whoever lived there was to make the village accessible. The lack of decay, the silence where there should be sound. And this, something Margaret always noted before she stopped responding to emails about her research. The name itself, Arrow, in Old English, can mean a frame used to break up soil, to prepare the ground. But in an older usage, one that barely survives in the historical record, to arrow meant something else entirely. It meant to disturb the dead, to drag something up from below. Arrow's End, the end of the disturbing, or perhaps the place where the disturbing never stopped. Daniel Marsh never went back. Margaret Hollis's research has largely vanished from the internet. I found fragments, cached pages, screenshots, second-hand accounts. Claire, the urban explorer, moved abroad. She gave one interview in 2015 and said only this: "I think the village wants to be found. I think that's the whole point of it. I don't know what's out there in that stretch of woodland. I don't know what the watchers were watching for, or whether they ever stopped. But I do know this: there are places that stay with you, that follow you home in the dark, that sit at the edge of your vision when the room gets quiet. Arrow's End is one of them. If you've ever felt like summer wasn't quite right, like the light was coming from the wrong direction, like the silence was too full, maybe you'll understand why Daniel wrote those field notes 3 times. Maybe some things just need to be witnessed, even if witnessing them is exactly what they wanted. Sleep well." Have you ever heard of a city that simply stops existing? I'm not talking about abandoned places. I'm talking about a place that gets erased, like it was never there. This is the story of Valdres, and if you watch until the end, you might understand why no one talks about it. It all started with a map, an old map I found at a small market, folded badly, yellowed, with handwritten notes. Nothing unusual until I saw the name, Valdres. It didn't exist anywhere, no online records, no official archives, yet it was clearly marked. So I went looking for it. After days of searching, I found an old cartographer willing to help. The moment he saw the map, he went pale. He only said one thing: "If you find Valdres, don't go in." Of course, I didn't listen. After hours of driving through mountains and forgotten roads, my GPS died, no signal, and then I saw it. A city, perfectly intact, buildings, streets, lights, untouched, but completely empty. No sound, no wind, no animals, just silence, heavy silence. As I walked in, I noticed something strange. Every door was open, every single one, like everyone left at the same time, but there were no signs of panic, just sudden abandonment. Then I found the photographs, families smiling, children, normal people, but every face scratched out, like someone erased them. And then I heard it, a whisper, not outside, inside the house. I went in. The whisper became a voice. It was saying my name. I hadn't told anyone where I was going. The house was empty, but the voice kept getting closer, more familiar. It was my voice, and it said, "You were not supposed to find us." The door slammed shut, and every light in the city turned on. Outside, the streets weren't empty anymore. There were people standing still, all of them facing me. And then, all at once, they started smiling, and their faces had no eyes. I escaped. Don't ask me how, I don't remember the way back, but when I returned, the map had changed. Valdres was gone. It never existed. I tried telling people, no one believes me, and every time I say its name, I feel something. Like something is looking for me. If you ever find a city that doesn't exist, don't go looking for it, because some cities don't want to be found. And if vultures appear for you, it's already too late. I first heard about Letara on an abandoned forum. No active users, no updates for years, just 3 threads, all with the same title. Did you see it too? At first, I thought it was just a creepypasta, but the messages were too consistent. Different people, different times, same description, same fear. They said Letara cannot be searched, cannot be found, because it appears only when you are isolated, truly isolated. No signal, no connection, no presence, like nothing is tracking you anymore. And when it happens, the city is already there, waiting. I didn't believe it until it happened to me. It was night. I was driving alone. No traffic, no lights. My phone had no signal. The radio was just static. Then, the engine died. Everything stopped, like someone pressed pause. And in front of me, there was a city. It wasn't there before, I'm sure, but now it was, lit, silent, perfectly present. I stepped out, no other choice. Behind me, darkness. Ahead, Litara. The moment I entered, I knew something was wrong. It wasn't empty, not completely. There were traces, warm cups, TVs still on, running water, but no one. Like people had vanished, not hours ago, seconds. Then I saw the cameras, everywhere, every corner, every street. But they were all off, or at least I thought so. I saw something in a reflection, not behind me, inside it, a figure, standing still, watching me. I looked back, nothing. But in the reflection, it was still there, and it was getting closer. I stopped looking and ran. The faster I ran, the more the city changed. Streets stretched, buildings bent, lights flickered, like breathing. Then I heard something, not footsteps, not wind, a recording. Voices, hundreds of them, layered. I recognized something. They were messages, left behind by others. If you hear this, don't look at the windows. Don't stop moving. Don't. Then one voice, clear, different. You still have time. I stopped. Mistake. All the lights went out at once, and for the first time, I wasn't alone. I could feel them everywhere, but I couldn't see them until one light turned on. Just one. A building. A cinema. I don't know why, but I went inside. The room was full. People sitting. Still. Silent. I got closer. They weren't watching the screen. They were watching me. Then I understood. They were them. The missing people. Everyone who had seen Letara. Their eyes weren't eyes. They were screens. Small screens. On. And on every screen was me. Me walking in the city. Me entering the cinema. Me right now. The city isn't a place. It's a system. It watches you, records you, copies you, and then replaces you. The lights came back, and I was sitting in a seat. I don't remember sitting down. Everyone was still, like before. I tried to stand. I couldn't, because I was still outside. If one day you lose signal, if everything goes silent, if it feels like no one knows where you are, don't keep going, don't move forward, because Letara doesn't appear. Letara records, and when the world stops seeing you, you become part of the city. There is a house at the end of Mercer Street, white siding, green shutters, a broken weather vane on the roof shaped like a rooster, missing its tail. You've probably seen it. Most people have, even if they've never been to Mercer Street. In March of 2019, a woman named Dana Chu posted in a local neighborhood forum in Portland, Oregon. She wasn't looking for attention. She was looking for informations. Her post read, "Hey y'all, weird question. There is a house that appeared on the corner of my block overnight. Literally wasn't there on Saturday and was there Sunday morning. White with green shutters. My husband says I'm crazy, but I walked past that lot every day for 6 years. It was empty. Does anyone know who owns it? It's giving me a weird feeling and I can't explain why." 43 people replied within an hour. Most said she was probably just not paying attention. One person said it was probably a modular home installed quickly. But one reply, from a user named Hollowfield, said only this: "Don't look at the windows after dark, and don't count the rooms inside. There are never the same number twice." Donna laughed it off. She took a photo of the house the next morning to post as a follow-up. When she checked the photo that evening, the house wasn't in it. Just the empty lot. But in the background, barely visible, 3 blocks further down the street than should have been possible. White siding, green shutters. Here's where it gets harder to dismiss. because Dana Chu was not alone. In the following months, researchers, amateur at first, then increasingly serious, began compiling reports of the same structure appearing in different cities, different countries, eventually. Always the same description: white siding, green shutters, a weather vane with a rooster, missing the tail, a front porch with two wooden chairs, slightly different angles each time, a door painted dark red, not quite burgundy, not quite brown, the color of something that used to be alive. In April 2019, a retired school teacher in Galway, Ireland, photographed it on a road she'd walked for 30 years. In July 2019, a delivery driver in Osaka, Japan, reported it on a residential street. He knocked on the door to ask for directions. He said, "And I want you to remember this." He said the door opened slightly on its own. He didn't go in. He said he heard, from inside, what sounded like a television, a cooking show, maybe, normal voices, laughter. He got back in his van. He drove away. When he looked in his rearview mirror, the house was gone. Not demolished, not hidden by a turn in the road. Gone. A group of paranormal investigators called the Null Meridian began tracking reported sightings in late 2019. By the time their research was archived, their website went dark in February 2021. I'll come back to that. They had documented 211 confirmed sightings across 34 countries. No two sightings were in the same location more than once. No photograph of the house ever retained the image if the photo was taken from directly in front of the door. And in 17 separate cases, 17 witnesses who had seen the house reported the same dream in the weeks that followed. They're standing inside a house, warm light, the smell of something baking. Everything feels safe, feels like home, even if nothing in the house matches anywhere they've ever lived. And then they realize, slowly, the way you realize things in dreams, that they don't know how they got in. They walk to the front door, they open it, and outside, instead of whatever street they expect, instead of their city, their neighborhood, their world, there is nothing. No road, no sky, just a flat, gray nothing in every direction. And behind them, they hear the door. Let me tell you about the last post the Null Meridian ever published. It went up on a January 29, 2021 at 3:14 in the morning. The lead researcher, who went by the name Rook online, real identity never confirmed, had apparently been tracking what they called a pre-emergence pattern. The theory was this: the house doesn't move randomly, it chooses. Rook had been studying sighting data for over a year, and they believed the house appeared in areas where a specific psychological condition was present in the local population. Not illness, not tragedy, exactly. They described it as a kind of ambient longing, a neighborhood-wide, low-frequency ache, the feeling a place gets when too many people in it quietly wish they were somewhere else, somewhere that felt like home. The house, Rook believed, was drawn to that frequency, like a moth to warmth. And their final post ended with this: "I've been wrong about one thing this entire time. I thought the house was looking for something. I don't think that anymore. I think the house found what it was looking for a long time ago. I think it keeps moving because it's not the house that's lost. We are. I'm writing this from my kitchen, my actual kitchen, the one I've lived in for 11 years. But something is wrong with the light tonight. It's too warm, and I can smell something baking that I'm not baking. I'm going to check the front of the building. If this is the last post, you'll know why." That was the last post. The website went offline 4 days later. 3 members of the Null Meridian who had been in contact with outside researchers were never heard from again. No missing persons reports were filed because, And this is the part that still bothers me most. None of their contacts could remember enough about them to file one. Not their faces, not their last names, only that they had existed, only that they were gone. Over time, from hundreds of witness accounts, a loose set of observations has emerged. Call them rules if you want, I'd call them warnings. 1. The house is always at the edge of your peripheral vision when it first appears. You won't see it head on. You'll notice it from the corner of your eye and feel, very briefly, completely at ease, that feeling is the trap. 2. Do not photograph the front door directly. Witnesses who have done so reported that the image, when viewed later, shows not the door but something behind it. Nobody who has described what they saw behind the door describes it the same way, but they all stop sleeping well afterward. 3. If the door opens on its own, without wind, without reason, do not treat it as an invitation. It isn't. 4. If you are inside, if somehow you are inside, count the rooms, then count them again. If the number changes, if there is a hallway that wasn't there, a staircase that goes up when the house has no second floor, do not follow it. Stand still. Close your eyes. Think as specifically as possible of the place you came from. Not a concept, not home. An actual specific small thing. The sound your front door makes, the smell of your hallway, the exact color of the light through your bedroom window in the morning. Hold on to that and hope that it's enough. 5. And this one is the most important. If you see the house, if you are reading this and you look up from your screen and outside your window, down the street or across the lot, or just barely visible between buildings, white siding, green shutters, a weather vane with a rooster missing its tail, don't go toward it. Don't take a photo. Don't open a window to get a better look. Just turn on every light in your home, every single one. Make the space yours. Make it loud and warm and specific and real. And wait, by morning, it will have moved on, probably. I've been researching this for 7 months now. I want to be honest with you. I can't prove any of this. The forum posts can be verified, some of them. The Non-Meridian's archived pages are accessible through the Wayback Machine if you know what to search. The photographs exist, though they're difficult to find, and they never quite show what witnesses described. I don't know what the house is. I don't know where it goes between sidings. I don't know what's inside. But I'll tell you something. I live in a second floor apartment. I've lived here for 3 years. I know this street. And last week, 3 nights ago, I woke up at 3 a.m. and the room felt wrong. Too warm. The light was off. The way it always is. But something in the darkness had a quality to it I've never felt before. Like the room was holding its breath. I lay there for a long time. I didn't move. I didn't look out the window. I thought about specific things, small things. The sound my radiator makes, the exact crack in the ceiling above my bed, the way my coffee smells in the morning. I held on to those, and eventually, slowly, their warmth faded. The room went back to normal. I still haven't looked up the streets on Google Maps. I'm not sure I want to know what I'd see at the corner. Sleep well.